Welcome to Indian mathematical class. Today we are going to discuss about subgraphs, spanning subgraphs, vertex disjoint subgraphs and edge disjoint subgraphs. So let us first discuss what is subgraphs. Let G and H be two graphs. H is called a subgraph of G if vertex set of H is contained in the vertex set of G and the edge set of H is contained in the edge set of G. If H is a subgraph of G, then I can say that first one is all the vertices of H are in G, all the edges of H are in G. The third one is each edge in H has the same end vertices in G. Now let us understand this with the help of an example. I have considered here the graph G and H as shown in the figure. The vertex set of G is A, B, C, D, E and F. The edge set of G is E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6 and E7. The vertex set of H is A, B, E, F and the edge set of H is E1, E6 and E7. Now I can see here that the vertex set of H is contained in the vertex set of G and the edge set of H is also contained in the edge set of G. Means all the vertices of H are in G also and all the edges of H are in G also. Also I can check here that if I consider any edge, let us consider the edge E1 here. It has the end vertices A and B in the graph H and in the graph G it has the same end vertices A and B. Okay, and you can also check it for E6 and E7. Both these edges have the same end vertices in G also. Here I can say that H is a subgraph of G. Now spanning subgraph. A subgraph H of G is called spanning subgraph of G if vertex set of H and vertex set of G are both equal. Let us understand this with the help of an example. I have considered here the graph G, H1 and H2. Here H1 and H2 are both the subgraph of G. Now observe that the subgraph H1 has the vertex set and it has the elements V1, V2, V3, V4, V5 and V6, which is same as the vertex set of the graph G. So I can say that this H1 is the spanning subgraph of G. Now the question is the spanning subgraph of a graph is unique? Then the answer is not necessary. There can be more than one spanning subgraphs of a graph. Here I have considered the subgraph H2 also. You can check here that the vertex set of H2 and vertex set of G are both equal. So this subgraph H2 is also the spanning subgraph of the graph G. So remember this thing that a graph may or may not have the unique spanning subgraph. Okay, there can be a graph and we will discuss it later in some other lecture that a graph which has only unique the graph G, any graph G has a unique spanning subgraph. Okay, that will come that will be discussed in our upcoming lectures. Okay, so here just remember one thing, that a graph G may or may not have the unique spanning subgraph. Means graph G can have more than one spanning subgraphs. Now edge disjoint subgraphs. Two subgraphs H1 and H2 of a graph G are said to be edge disjoint subgraphs. If edge set of H1 and edge set of H2 are both disjoint, means if I take the intersection of both the sets, I will get an empty set. Now let us understand this with the help of an example. I have considered the graph G and the two subgraphs of G, they are H1 and H2. Now the edge set of H1 is E1 and E7, and the edge set of H2 is E2, E3, E4, E5 and E8. Okay, and if I take the intersection of both the set, I will get an empty set. Why? Because they don't have any edge common, so the intersection of both the set will be an empty set. So by the definition of edge disjoint subgraph, these two subgraphs H1 and H2 are edge disjoint subgraphs. Now let us discuss vertex disjoint subgraph. Two subgraphs H1 and H2 of a graph G are called vertex disjoint subgraphs if the vertex set of H1 and the vertex set of H2 are both disjoint, means if I take intersection of both the sets, I will get an empty set. Let us understand this with the help of an example. I have considered here the graph G and its two subgraphs H1 and H2. Now the vertex set of H1 is V1, V2 and V4, and the vertex set of the subgraph H2 is V3 and V5. Now if I take the intersection of both these sets, I will get an empty set. Why? Because there is no vertex common between these two subgraphs. So the intersection will be an empty set, and by the definition of vertex disjoint subgraph, these subgraphs H1 and H2 are vertex disjoint subgraphs. So that's it for today. If you like our lectures, then please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share the video. If you have any doubt, then you can ask me in the comment section. So see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care and Jai Hind.